Aloha, I'm Asia Iyer. We have some pressing news from the Maui Pono Network, and this should affect everybody. This should be of interest to everybody in the county. This is about the South Maui Community Plan. And the reason I think this really affects everybody in the county is because this is something that we all deal with, whether we're going into Kihei, whether we work there, our kids, our nieces and nephews. We all go there if we don't already live there. And a large portion of the county actually lives in South Maui right now. Well, the South Maui Community Plan, which we've talked about a lot, is up before the Planning Commission. They've been working on it for over a year. And at Tuesday's meeting, so Tuesday, February 18th, they have a meeting at 9 a.m. where they will be discussing sections 3 and 4 of the community plan. And we're making a call out to community members asking you to testify, to either send in written testimony or do a live online testimony at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Now, written testimonies are due this coming Monday, February 17th by noon. And again, the verbal testimonies would happen at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. So you need to get online to do that. Now, there are lots of important things you can testify about. And we are so excited because we have Rob Weltman with us here today. And he's going to present a presentation he gave actually to the mayor just a little while ago. And it goes over some of the really serious concerns that the Maui community and the South Maui community have about how the community plan is being seen by the Planning Commission. So he's going to talk about those. So if you would like to get really specific with your testimony, or if you're just interested in learning more about the truth of what the future looks like for South Maui based on the community plan and based on how the Planning Commission is changing the community plan, that's why you need to listen to this full presentation. Now, if you're going to testify, again, you can get specific. We do want you to look at these points, testifying about traffic and about the concerns in South Maui, traffic and escape routes, especially. There's just one way out of South Maui that needs to be addressed. We want to see that community plan require strong language. So the difference that the Planning Commission has done with this plan is it's taken the requireds out, it's taken the shalls out, and it's put recommended, or this would be a good idea, but it doesn't have that strong language that originated with the community when the plan was in South Maui being addressed by people of the community. The other thing is prioritizing workforce housing. There is a lot of development that's going to be happening in our lifetimes in South Maui. What do we want that development to look like? How can it best serve our community? The South Maui Community Plan Advisory Board suggested that be workforce housing. Rob's going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's something that's really important. And then finally, something that we see again and again, and it's life-threatening, is the lack of protection of wetlands and gulches to mitigate floodwater and to protect our nearshore environments. We need to make sure that this community plan goes into law, goes into effect, and that it protects those gulches, protects the wetlands, that protect the people of South Maui, their homes, their businesses, and it also protects that nearshore environment, our beaches, the water, the fisheries, all those things that we depend on economically and environmentally. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the time over to Rob. He's going to give a short presentation. Again, this is taken from a presentation they gave to our mayor. And Rob was the chairperson of the South Maui Community Plan Advisory Committee, so the CPAC, what they call that. And wait, am I saying that right, Rob? I don't know. I'll let him do that. And he has also been on the Kihei Community Association. So he's very well versed in the concerns of the Kihei community, and he has seen these same issues come up over and over again in South Maui. So thank you, Rob, for being here today on this video, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Aloha mai kakoa. I'm going to share some slides just to make it, visuals always make it easier. So the South Maui Community Plan started with the Planning Department putting together a proposal. Then it went to the Community Plan Advisory Committee for the South Maui Community Plan, which I was the chairperson of. And I'm still actually on the hook because the committee is supposed to stay to remain until the plan has gone through its final stage and been adopted by the county council. So this is a very broad process during that initial phase where we had lots and lots of people come and testify, and we had 13 residents of South Maui, different backgrounds, different parts of South Maui participating, and spent a lot of time going into all the details and and was actually able to reach unanimity on most of the decisions. So it was a big deal, and we came up with a plan we thought would reflect what people in South Maui what South Maui want, what they expressed interest in. And these are the things that I think were expressed the most when people talked in testimony and in other ways of engaging with the CPAC and the plan. They wanted affordable housing for people who live on Maui and their children, rather than housing for wealthy people who don't even live on Maui. They wanted steps to be taken to mitigate the floods and have the water be used to reforest and restore native vegetation on the Mauka side, on the slopes. They wanted fire mitigation, and this is even before the August fire. And want a complete community, so people should be able to bike and walk to work and shop without having to drive across the island to get to where they go to school or work. And they want to protect the ocean water quality. And so after we finished, about a year and a half ago, it went to the Maui Planning Commission. And after that, it'll go to the county council. Within the Planning Commission, the planning department advises the Planning Commission on what to do, and they very often follow their advice. When it comes to workforce housing, Wetland 670 in general will not be up on the agenda on Tuesday. It'll be coming up as part of the zoning changes that will be coming to a public meeting in March. So I won't go into that much here. But Piilani Promenade, on the other hand, is a really big deal. This is an area which the South Maui community has been opposed to having commercial development on for years and years and years. It's called the Mega Mall, and the community advisory planning committee, in accordance with what the community wanted, designated the 4 parcels here as residential. But the planning commission, on the advice of the planning department, changed it to small town center, which means that it could be commercial development. There could also be residential, but there's no requirement for that. It could end up being all commercial too. So we definitely don't like that, and we know that the community does not like that. We think it should be changed back to residential. The argument made by the developer was that, and by the planning department, was that there's a land use commission, state land use commission order, which says you're not allowed to do residential. But the land use commission order also says they're not allowed to do commercial. So that's kind of an invalid argument, regardless of what they want to do. If they want to do anything other than a 123 lot light industrial development there, they have to go back to the land use commission. So they could just as well go back and ask for residential as go back and ask for small town center and commercial. The let's see. The next big area is called Kihei Mauka, and this doesn't exist. This is probably fairly far in the future, but this area was all designated agricultural until this current planned development, and the ranchers asked for the planning department to designate it all as a variety of things, and the planning and the CPAC agreed with that under certain conditions. And one of them is that most of it be workforce housing. Another one is that before all these people are allowed to move in there needs to be a way for people to get in and out, not going down to Piilani Highway, which is already jam-packed and would be a nightmare if there was a fire and people need to get in and out of the area. So we required that there be connectivity to Veterans Highway without going through Piilani Highway, and also connectivity to Lipoa to the south. And also that there be a buffer, the green line along the right-hand side, which protects it from fire and also from flooding. So in the big fire of August 2023, the fire reached into this area and would have crossed what we're proposing as a greenway buffer. So very, very important to get that buffer. The fire looked like this. Just give you a very short sense of what that fire looked like in this exact area that we're talking about here. So this could very well have extended into this area and then continued on to Kihei, and done to Kihei what it did to on the west side to Lahaina. But however, on the recommendation of the planning department, the planning commission removed the requirement for the buffer remove the requirement that there be this egress and ingress before the first occupancy. And they also weaken the requirement for workforce housing there. The final part of affordable housing is that the planning, the CPAC on the advice of the community required that workforce housing be provided in the same areas, the same sub areas where the developer was putting homes for the wealthy. And also that they not be able to use credits that they bought from other parts of the island to use to not have to build affordable housing. But the Planning Commission removed those requirements. So all these are things which you can bring up when you talk in front of the Planning Commission on Tuesday this coming week. Also very important is that all of South Maui at this point, except for Ma'alaya, feeds through one choke point. And there was a requirement in the 1998 plan that infrastructure such as roads be provided prior to or concurrent with development, other development. And the CPAC put the same requirement into the South Maui Community Plan. However, on the advice of the Planning Department, the Planning Commission removed that requirement. Now, this is what that looks like in detail, that choke point. So all the developments that are being planned, and I didn't even include why they have 670 here because it's kind of unclear whether that's going to be 700 units or less. They'll all add to this traffic. They all need a way to get in and out. So the situation is only going to be getting worse. And however, on the recommendation from the Planning Department, the Planning Commission removed the requirement not only for infrastructure concurrent with or prior to development, but also the requirement that Wailea 670 widen the remaining 2-lane highway into a 4-lane highway, the last mile before you get to Wailea. So these are things that the South Maui community felt were very important, which were not addressed with the changes that the Planning Commission is making. And if you can have the ability to write to the Planning Commission no later than noon on Monday, or to attend the Planning Commission meeting through video, then at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, then that would be awesome. And I'm going to end here and let Asia tell you just how to do that.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, so we will include on this email, you can see there's links to testify on the WebEx, and we'll also put links to the agenda and the way that you can send in written testimony. Some people prefer to write, some people prefer to go in person, and some people prefer to do both, which is great too. We just want you to take careful consideration of the future of South Maui, of the future for us in the county, for the future of our kids, our grandkids, our family and friends, and what that's going to look like. We as a community should get to decide what our community's future looks like. So again, we ask you to testify, and thank you for being involved. Thank you for taking the time to just, watch out for each other, be a good neighbor. And this is a great way to be involved. This really makes a difference, and we appreciate you. Mahalo, and have a good weekend.